And welcome back to Hannity, the site of the vice presidential debate, as we continue from Spin Alley. And joining us now, the chairman of the RNC, Reince Priebus. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great tonight, Sean. Mike was awesome.
Well, Luntz did a focus group, 22-4. That's a big win.
Yeah, it was a big win. He effectively prosecuted the case for Donald Trump and really laid out the case why Hillary Clinton's just been a total train wreck and everything that she's touched. And, you know, the fact that he was able to do that tonight was great, and we're looking forward to it for a good few days.
All right, why the talking points before the debate that Mike won?
I don't even know.
He ended up winning.
Hey, but you know, we're so confident that he'd win that I'm not sure about that, but certainly he did a great job, and I thought that, you know, Tim Kaine was caught flat-footed on a few things like the Clinton Foundation, the email scandal. I mean, all the things that make her so unqualified to be president of the United States.
You know, one of the things I liked about the debate is very substantive. I was a little surprised at Kaine's style, which was constant, nonstop, irritating interruption.
Yeah, it was something else. And I was in the debate hall, so I haven't yet been able to look at it how everyone at home has seen it. But even just sitting there, it was unbelievable, the interruptions and the constant talking over Mike Pence. But he was cool as a cucumber. I think he did a great job. And I think it was important for the American people to be reminded that it was Hillary Clinton that, number one, everything that she's done, back from when Bill Clinton was Attorney General, to governor, to president, when she was First Lady, to when she was a senator, every single thing she touched turned to scandal. Everything from Whitewater on all the way now to the email scandal. It was a mess, and she can't be trusted.
The one thing that I noticed when you look at the two debates is you got the Democrats seem just fixated on dumping the kitchen sink with their litany of robotic, memorized lines about Donald Trump and what he said. But they don't seem to really want to talk about their tax plan to raise taxes, raise spending. The last president has accumulated more debt by the time he leaves office than every other president before him combined. Or the fact that this litany, as you say, of attacks that they memorize. You know, it's amazing they can memorize all these things. But when the FBI asked Hillary Clinton 39 times whether she remembered things that actually mattered, right? She said, I don't recall, I don't recall. She couldn't recall whether she was trained. She couldn't recall anything about things that have to do with her job as Secretary of State. Not to mention the fact that when she did do her job as Secretary of State, it was a mess. The Russian reset, Libya, Benghazi, ISIS that is growing out of control. On whose watch did this happen? Hillary Clinton's watch. And she has to answer for that. And Tim Kaine was prosecuted with that case tonight, and he had nothing to say about it. You know, it was pretty interesting. I thought we got more substance in this debate. We did talk about immigration. We did talk about the wall. We did talk about comprehensive reform, what they want, and Donald Trump's plan. We talked about vetting refugees. A lot of time spent on Iran, a lot of time spent on Putin, a lot of time spent on foreign policy. It seems when it goes substance, they can't defend the economic record of the last 8 years or the foreign policy record.
Well, they can't defend the fact that she was the one in the unique position to actually solve these problems as Secretary of State. Who out there watching this has been Secretary of State? There might be, you know, maybe 4 or 5 of them out there. That's it. The rest of us, we weren't in the position that Hillary Clinton was in. She had the chance, and she failed. I mean, that is the #1 reason why she cannot be possibly promoted to President of the United States.
Let's look forward to Sunday night and Donald Trump versus Hillary, round 2. What advice would you give him?
My advice would be always pivot back. I mean, I'd pivot back to Hillary, explain to the American people the things that she didn't do, and she had the chance. I think he did a great job at the debate last week. I think he's going to come even more prepared and more ready to go because, you know, it's been another, what's going to be 10 days now since the last debate. He's going to have that opportunity. And you get the chance to feel what that feels like on that stage. As a person who's never run for office before, he's going to come back. I think he's going to do great.
And definitely doesn't have to answer her questions about his taxes, especially she's somebody that gave a lot of speeches to a lot of special interests and a lot of Wall Street firms and a lot of insurance companies. Why won't she release? I haven't heard in either debate. Why don't they ask for the release of those speeches?
Well, the release of the speeches, but also, what about this fundamental question? How in the world did she make all this money? I mean, here they are, their entire lives at the backs of taxpayers. They've made $200 million giving speeches, selling her role as Secretary of State across the world, taking money in from foreign countries, making hundreds of millions of dollars, giving speeches to our students that are paying too much in college. And he has to answer a question as far as why he had a tax loss in 1995 and carried it over and built a multi-billion-dollar business. He's the private citizen.
What do you think? Because it seemed like Donald Trump, after the controversy, went rock solid, on message, stayed on message. The polls all came around. Then the Alicia Machado issue came up and the tweets at 3:30 in the morning. What advice do you have for him on this? Does it get in the way of the message that Mike Pence was bringing tonight, which was substance on all of these big issues, the economy, foreign policy, immigration, health care, all of these things, education?
Well, one thing, he's an incredibly hard worker, and he's someone that's never run for office before. And sometimes, you know, like people in politics all the time, you know, they can just sit here and take these accusations, and, you know, I get pounded every day.
I wouldn't want your job.
No, most people don't want my job.
Especially during the primary.
It's very hard to ignore criticism, and it's not a criticism. It's just that
it's an attack. She's attacking him. She wants him to respond like Alka-Seltzer in water.
What I'm saying is it's not a criticism to want to respond. When you're getting attacked, if you've never run for office before and someone's attacking you out of nowhere, it's a tough thing to take. I can remember the first time I ran for office. Remember the first letter to the editor in the Kenosha News. I thought my whole world was coming apart. Well, now I can, you know, that's like 100 a day now.
Want to know what the first review of Hannity and Combs said? That Alan Combs looks funereal and Hannity has a bad haircut and shouldn't be on TV.
Oh, you got great hair. So one thing you got going for you is good hair.
It's real, too, like Trump's. Well, anyway, so we really appreciate you being with us, and thanks so much. You got 35 days to go. You're predicting victory, and how's the ground game? Last question.
I think it's going great. I mean, we're ahead. We're doing well in voter registration, early vote. But, look, this is coming down to the wire, and we're going to keep working hard.
All right, Reince Priebus, chairman of the RNC. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us.